Well, for more on the President's address, Kganki Matabane, Black Business Council CEO, joins me from Centurion now. A very good evening to you. He spent a fair bit of his speech, as you'd imagine, on the losses suffered by business leaders, by small businesses, and the impact that it's going to have on the unemployment. Did he say anything that gives you any confidence as far as rebuilding the economy is concerned? He said the army's going to be there to help. It's going to take more than that, isn't it?
Evening, Jane and the viewers. Firstly, we would like to pass our condolences to the families of the departed. I think the speech was balanced because the immediate challenge now is to bring the country to where it was, normalize the situation, and I think hence we've welcomed the deployment of the army just to stabilize the issue. But obviously from there, the next immediate urgent action should be how then do we reopen those businesses as quickly as possible. And then he has touched on some of the things. The first one is the relief. And then I think the relief that I didn't hear him touching is the relief that we've raised at NETLEC to say the government should consider using UIF and TERS to compensate employees who have lost their jobs, because some of the malls and the businesses are likely to take a little bit of time. The ones that, for example, were banned, they need, for example, structural engineers, electrical engineers, and other professionals before they reopen, which may be 6 months to a year. So firstly, then, what will happen to those employees? We have to utilize the UIF to at least meet them halfway.
I mean, you're right that money needs to come back. Excuse me, jumping in here. I mean, there are quite a few factors to what happened to the rioting, but I mean, there are a lot of people who have no food, they have no money. He spent quite a bit of time talking about how the army is going to help with the supply of goods, which will help the supply chains. I mean, that's obviously incredibly important to help businesses start.
Yes, but the important issue and also the sustainable way is to reopen those businesses so that employees can go back to work. Because the giving them 350 there, this and that is not sustainable, because then people are depending on handouts. The sustainable way is to reopen those businesses, get people back to work so that they can provide for themselves, they can provide their families and take their kids to school. So the other relief I think that we've raised when we met at NETLEC is and I'm glad they are considering something like that. We've asked for government to consider a disaster relief fund because we've picked it up that most of the businesses that are operating in those malls are small shops, that they're small businesses. Most of them don't even have such reinsurance, which means they may not have insurance money to reopen. So it's important that we found a innovative way to get them back to business, get them to reopen the business, so that people can go back to work and we reduce unemployment.
I mean, in Durban alone, it's estimated that something like 50,000 informal traders have been affected. We know that the price of fuel is going to go up because of that, because of what's been happening on the streets. That'll have a dramatic impact. I'm just going to put to you what COSATU said, and I'm just wondering how you feel about this. They say that the government has no choice but to abandon its austerity framework, choose an expansionary fiscal policy framework. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. We can't go to austerity when, for example, we are still struggling to recover from the impact of COVID, and now we've got this disaster that has happened. So we need to find ways of stimulating the economy, and we cannot stimulate it by adopting a defensive type of economic policy. You have to expand.
And obviously a lot of people who've lost their jobs, they're not going to be putting money back in the economy. Difficult days ahead. Kganki Matabane, thank you very much for that.